I'm just going to do my little spiel, so we're episode 9, and we'll go, so this is like episode 9 with Rusty. Here we go, we're on live. Howdy do. Welcome to episode 9 of Nothing Else Matters. I'm Care, and I'm here today with a beautiful friend Rusty, who's come to talk with me, and we're just going to allow our mouths to open and stuff to come out, and we don't even know.
A bit of lubricant goes a long way.
We're having an Arvo bevy. It's Sunday afternoon, and we're just going to talk, and we know you're there listening, so we're going to try and, you know, aim a few things at you as well. And we're just going to go, so I'm going to start by asking Rusty. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, I've never been any good with pressure. I collapse in a heap. My nickname is Deck Chair because I fold under pressure.
I didn't know this was going to be a comedy. So let me ask you, Rusty, to kick it off, what matters to you?
Beer, social
right.
lubricant, good friends, good relationships, maintaining those as best I can. A balance. I think for me, balance.
Balance is really
I'm a
important.
Libran. I've never really gotten into astrology, but Librans are apparently obsessed with balance. Not obsessed, but you know, it's
like
an important
the
thing.
scales of justice.
Yeah.
Sian's a Libra.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Who's the champ?
Sian, you're Libra.
So, yeah, I think balance for me is very important and what matters because, you know, work-life balance, making sure, you know, I work hard, but I make sure I relax. I'm very good at relaxing.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard about your couch. I remember your couch at the front on your front porch.
Oh, yes, the old leather lounge on the front porch.
Yeah.
Although, to be honest, cats are better at it than humans. Like, I would leave for work and the cat would be on the leather lounge and I'd be looking at it with some, you know, some jealousy, to be honest, going, what the hell? I should be there.
You should be going out to work.
And I get back from work and the cat's still on the lounge and I'm like, you bastard, you know, what am I doing? Cats are more evolved than humans, I thought to myself.
I believe so too. I think, like, I've watched the animals before, like in the cows in the paddock specifically, and I've gone, oh my goodness, they've got it worked out. And look at us, so busy scurrying around, trying to keep this like hamster wheel going, and then the animals are just out there, just they eat, they sleep, they play. I have seen cows play. Have you seen them run and jump and prance?
Maybe now and again. Although it would get a bit boring because it's like, oh, what can I have to eat now? Grass. Oh, yeah.
I actually heard, like, all these animals that we think are herbivores aren't. Like, it's just something, Sian, you were telling me, weren't you? My son and is in the kitchen cooking up dinner for us for when we finish, but he was telling me that there's documentaries out there where they've taken hidden cameras out into the wild and put meat or like bodies and the like animals you never would imagine have come in and eaten, like deers and squirrels and but like all these ones we go, oh, cows, you know, the ones that we think are just herbivores, they're not. They eat feed. Which I don't know, for some reason just gave me a fright, because I'm like, but that's not what I thought you were.
Yeah. Oh, the innocence has just gone straight out the window as far as I'm concerned.
The purity.
Yeah. But, hey, you know, life's a mystery.
It is. It is a mystery, isn't it?
Yes, I think, to me, balance, maintaining balance in life is, for me, best in keeping some sense of mental stability and, you know, staying in tune with yourself and being happy, I suppose.
Well, that's really fundamental, isn't it? Because if we're not happy, It's like, how do we cope with life? Because there's always stuff like, you know, bills, work, you know, if we're sick or something like, and if you're not happy, it's like, then you become even unhappier.
Then you got to start to question why you're here. You know, if you can't be happy, at least some of the times. I mean, obviously you can't be happy, or you can be reasonably happy all the time, but you can't always be doing something amazing.
No.
Because life, you know, does have its drudgeries, and it's part of it, you know.
What do you think the drudgeries are?
I don't like getting up in the morning for work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my biggest. Yeah.
What time do you have to get up?
The alarm goes off at 5:30, and I get up about just before 6. Molly has to
drag you out.
No, she's not up, so she'll get her feet behind me and just go zoom.
Out you get.
Out you get. I've had enough of your procrastination.
On your bike.
Speaking of procrastination, did you know that I'm the president of the South Australian Procrastination Association?
No, I didn't even know there was one. Serious?
Yeah, a lot of people that want to join, but they never get around to it. Sorry, you've probably heard that one before.
No, I never had. I thought you was being serious.
No.
I thought you were serious.
We've got a motto in Latin that says, "Why do today what you can put off till tomorrow?"
That's so interesting.
Above the door of the Procrastination Association. Anyway, enough of my bullshit. A good laugh and talking shit is also very important to me.
It is, because you have, like, I've always known you to have such a great sense of humour. And, like, when you come into a room, you always light it up.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've seen. That's what I've experienced.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that is wonderful.
I think, you know, the world can have its problems, and if we can sort of, you know, be a bit more of a, you know, shine a bit of light in the world, that's not a bad thing, is it?
Oh, not at all, yeah. That's like one of the most important things. Because I sort of figured a long time ago, like when I go out in the day, I always try and say hello to people and engage. You know, that eye contact, you get that,
say hello.
And smile, hi.
Hi, howdy do.
Exactly. And I sort of figured, like, sometimes that could make all the difference with someone. If they're having a bad day and someone kind of connects with them, that it could, you know, it could make a huge difference to be someone who's on the verge or on the edge of not wanting to be here. And then we connect with, you know, we connect with them, or someone else does, and they go, hang on a sec, there is good in the world. There are good
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
So it's worth always, you know, being as happy as we can.
Yeah, life can be tough. So, and sometimes, if you know, everyone has a bad day. If you bump into someone who's, you know, cheery and willing to say hi and, you know, ask how you're doing. Sometimes you don't want to say how you're doing, but that's okay. So you can just say, oh, that was nice, you know.
Yeah, even a smile, I think.
Oh yes, or like say my workmates and I, we like to cheer each other up through the drudgery of workday by giving each other insults. You know?
Oh really?
Yeah.
Is that a guy thing?
Yeah. Oh no, I've got a lot of female friends that I give insults to.
Really? But they're okay, it's reciprocated.
Oh, definitely
right?
reciprocated. Oh, when Heather's one, you know, we've been insulting each other for years.
Yes, in the loveliest possible of ways. And you and Molly have a really good thing going on.
It's my darling Molly, yeah. Yeah, we like to, you know. What are you?
Useless.
Yeah, Molly's over there. She's here. We're having dinner together after.
So, yeah, we give each other a bit of grief, and, it keeps the day ticking along.
Well, so, if it's humorous and you know, it's for fun,
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get a good laugh from a good insult, you know. People who know you the best know how to pick your little, push your buttons in a way, you know. And then it helps you see yourself and then have a laugh at yourself.
Yeah, so you don't take life so seriously.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a saying, I don't know, I think I heard it on The Simpsons years ago. Those that mind don't matter, and those that don't matter mind. Hang on, is that correct? Those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter.
Very good.
Because, when you're just with your people, you can just relax and be yourself. And that's when you can kind of
throw an insult back and forth.
Because you know it's in jest.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think in a way, that can kind of take the edge off. If you did get a real insult, you're not going to be so, because you'll just go, I'm used to this.
Yeah.
It's like water off a duck's back.
Yeah. An old friend of mine and I, put our heads down the rabbit hole and look at all the stuff going on, and you end up coming out of that going, oh God, this is insane. But we would call each other Moon Unit and Space Cadet. Either the one name would flick to and back. One day I'd be Moon Unit and the next day I'd be Space Cadet. But it'd be, because putting your head down the rabbit hole can help you think you're crazy in some ways. So I think there's another balance too. You got to sort of, if you kind of stick your head down the rabbit hole, you got to come up for fresh air and go, all right, I've got to put my feet on the ground in the real world for a while and just put that aside because it gets a bit much.
Because it is like, I remember the rabbit hole come, when COVID came up, it was huge. Like the rabbit hole just became huge, and so many people dove on down, and there's so many, I guess we call them conspiracy theories, but they could, sometimes they're just a conspiracy and they're not just a theory, but does it serve us to get caught up in that? Really, like when you do, because if it brings you into fear, makes you feel like life is, what's the word? Scary? No, that's not the word I'm looking for.
Just feeling fearful. Yeah, definitely. And even recently I've been learning a few things, and I think for me it brings up feelings of anger too, and I'm going, but anger's not a bad thing. It's how we deal with it is another. I think to some degrees society needs to feel angry to bring itself to act, because we can't just sit around and let shit happen to us.
No, you have to get emotional enough to act, because when we're complacent, we do just sit back and go, who am I to do anything? But when, you're right, actually, because I normally shy away from anger because sort of saw it as negative, but it can ignite.
It can be a catalyst.
It can ignite that fire inside. Exactly.
Yeah, it's when we use it in a negative way, like being angry or expressing to those nearest and dearest to us, sometimes we can bypass that negativity onto our dearest ones, and I don't think that's very constructive.
No, and definitely, I would never condone violence at all. I don't think we ever need to be violent, but I do, passionate. I guess that anger, that brings up the passion to stand up for ourselves when we need to act, to call to action.
Yeah.
Because I have another saying. I think this one might be biblical. The other ones was from The Simpsons, I think. Evil prevails when good men do nothing. Good men and women, that's when evil prevails. Because when we just sit back and allow stuff to perpetuate, that's when a lot of bad stuff can happen. And it doesn't necessarily mean we have to go out and fight it, but we have to stand up and say no to certain things.
And a little bit like when the COVID stuff was out and about, and to say no, it took some strength.
It took a lot of gumption for people.
It took a lot of strength to say no, and people lost their jobs. And I didn't lose my job, and I was lucky not to, but to lose your income is a huge stress.
And to have that, a lot of people threaten with their livelihood, how they're going to support their family and themselves. It's like you either have to follow this protocol or that's it. You're kind of out on the street. It's like, what do you do? That's a tricky one.
Yeah, a lot of people were vaccinated against their will, and they've suffered health consequences with their health. And a lot of people didn't take it, and they lost jobs. Like Molly lost her job where she was. Luckily, she, I encouraged her. Said, look, we can sort this out. You can walk away from your job. It's okay.
It's not worth risking your body and your health.
That's right. But if you've got a big mortgage and you've got bills to pay and your job's threatened, and I can understand why people would cave to that. No judgment on my part, but it was a tricky time, and I don't think there's. I think there's going to be more tricky times coming up, but we'll take that one day at a time.
Well, you can only take things as they appear, can't we?
Yeah.
Because we can preconceive certain things. I guess there's analysts and people with actually have jobs, don't they? Where they're meant to sort of look ahead to see the potential of what could happen. But how far do we want to get ahead of ourselves when really we need to focus on the now, I think.
Yeah, I think, speaking of what's important, for me, like I've delved deep into spirituality and all sort of different aspects of things, Buddhism, Gnosticism, Christianity, and all of that. And to me, at the moment, I'm walking the path of, enjoying the Zen philosophy or the Taoist path. I love that sort of thing. It's just embracing the moment and letting life present itself to you, and then acting accordingly, rather than planning too far ahead. I've never been any good with plans. Tried planning once. It was the worst 5 minutes of my life. Well, to be honest, if I'd planned anything in my life, none of it would have come about, because life just happens, and it's like, oh.
Well, you're busy making other plans, or
yes,
not, because you're the head of the Procrastinators Organisation of South Australia. And I must lead by example. So, can we delve a bit more into the spirituality? Because I found when I really committed to my spiritual path, which has kind of, it's been amazing. It changed my life. It literally changed my life, and it changed me as a person.
Yeah.
And it gave me so much more meaning and so much more insight to the reality of our existence, and just strength to be myself and to stand strong and on my path and what my values are. Whereas before, I think I was just not really sure, and I probably was coming to the Thursday night procrastinations meetings with you, El Capitan.
And we'd all sit around in a circle going, what are we going to talk about? Yeah.
I don't know. That's you. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to talk about? I don't know.
Can't we just put this off till tomorrow?
Next week's meeting.
Yeah.
We'll save this for next week. But there's always, it's the only time we ever actually exist is right now. Now.
Yeah.
Now. Wait. Now.
Yeah.
So this is it. There's no real past. There's no real future. We are only here and now. And the past is a memory, and the future is just, plans, maybe.
Plans that don't come to fruition half the time.
Why not?
For me, when I was younger, I sort of delved into a lot of belief systems and research, and that was all kind of part of it as well, and useful. But I think for me, the real learning process comes about in your spiritual life when you come into hard times or really difficult times, and then you're sort of called upon to reach really deeply within yourself to maybe take a leap of faith and do something that normally you wouldn't, and maybe that society expects you not to do, because if you're unhappy in a certain situation, you know, you take the risk and leap out of that, but then you're kind of going, where am I landing?
I don't know, because it's dark. I can't see. It's unknown.
Where am I going with this? Now, to me, that happened, 20 years ago with my marriage breakup, and you've got to find, place to live, and if you got kids like I did, then you got to juggle that, and it's not easy. But for me, I think when I took that leap, I landed on my feet, and I've got a history of landing on my feet.
Yeah, you're like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So synchronicities, that things pop up. Oh, a house popped up. I can live there. A job, something like that. Just things land. I would put in. I knew what was needed. I made an effort to. Say, for example, a job. I didn't work hard, but I knew I needed a job, so I would just put little feelers out, and through that little action of putting feelers out and putting intentions out, then results came back.
I was just going to say that word as just before you said intentions. I'm thinking you put the intention out. And intention, I found is huge. Our intention creates worlds. It creates jobs. It creates so many things through our intention. And that I found through following this, through taking that leap of faith. And I had let me tell you. Can I tell you a little story?
I'm all ears. Oh, that's good. It takes the weight off of my shoulders.
Right, I feel like I need some sock puppets for this, but I should have some handy while I'm here. So this is my rendition of when I took my leap of faith. And so I started meditating every morning before I got out of bed, and that turned into every morning, every night. That turned into every morning, every night, and any little moment I could sneak off just to have that. I didn't even at that stage like to call it meditation. It was just that I stopped the monkey mind.
Well, that's tricky. That's a tricky business too.
Yeah, and the quiet. And then when I had that quiet, I had this other, what I call the silent whisper come in, like a silent voice. And I had a conversation with that silent voice one night. And it was like, just let go. This is the voice. This is me.
Oh, here we are, sock puppets. Just pretend they've got eyes
Just let go. But I don't know what's out there. Let go. I'll catch you. But I'm afraid. I've been holding on so long to this reality. It's okay. Just let go. Jump. You'll be fine. But I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'll land on my feet. It's okay. Not only I won't even have to catch you. You're going to fly. Okay. All right. And when I did, I was okay. And all that time worrying about what I couldn't see, it just kept me holding on to something where I was not happy. I needed to let go and go into that unknown.
Yeah, into the unknown,
and trust.
Yep.
And I've just been running on trust.
And that's where we grow, phenomenally. Through, you learn, it's not until you take the leap of faith that you can grow so much through that. It's almost like a surrender to the process of life, throwing yourself into the great void and almost knowing that you're going to land safely.
that knowing, that is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just, and I followed that knowing. It's like, well, how do you know, Kat? I just know. It's a feeling, isn't it? It's just...
Yeah, maybe that's what real faith is. I mean, I used to think that faith was like a faith in a religion or something like that, but it's not. I've certainly come to that realisation that faith is the faith in life, in the process of life, and that life has you. You know, you've got it. You know, if you take a leap of faith, it's there. If you believe it.
Yeah, that's so funny because I had that word believe in my mind, just like intention.
Yeah, so it's not really belief in a belief system, is it?
No.
It's believing that life has your back.
Yeah, and whatever you believe to be true will be. So if we believe, oh, it's going to be hard out there, I'm going to be struggling, that will happen. But if you believe it's going to be okay and you're going to be held, but even if you don't know, as long as you're not going to the negative belief, because I feel, and I've kind of come to know that we create that through our intentions and our beliefs, that that's how life forms for us.
Yeah. It's a tricky one because I don't think that, you know, if I say to myself, the power of positive thinking, I would like a nice Porsche car or a Ferrari.
Make it so.
Yeah, and it's not going to appear. I think, well, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Who's to know? But it's not that important if I have a Porsche or a Ferrari. What's important is being happy, you know. So if I hadn't taken that leap of faith I did years ago, I wouldn't have had all these amazing experiences, met some amazing people, like you know, Molly, and here I am, you know, we're living a great life there, and you know, I'm quite content.
Because it's not the stuff, is it? Like, can you...
No, it's not the stuff.
No.
I still drive a 20-year-old Holden, and I'm very content with it.
Yeah. Well, it gets you where you want to go.
Gets me where I want to go, just as much as a Ferrari would.
And it probably costs less to insure.
Yes, quite a bit. And if I have any mechanical repairs on it, it's just a few $100s.
Yeah, no.
That'll do. You know, so yeah, it doesn't really take much to be content.
No, because I sort of, you know, imagine at the end of our lives, like, I mean, when we're there, say, you know, not trying to be more, you know, morose. Is that a word?
Yeah.
I just, as I'm saying it, I'm going, am I making that word up? As we're lying there going, okay, I'm going, we could be surrounded by our family, hopefully. I mean, you can't take your Porsche with you, you can't take your Ferrari, you can't take your home that you lived in, you can't take your clothes, you can't take your jewellery or whatever, but you can take your memories, you know, the experiences that we had. And I feel like that's where, you know, it's a learning process, because often when we're younger especially, we feel like we need to have stuff. And then I found as I get older, it's like I need less stuff. I don't need to have as much stuff. It is the feeling and the company and the experiences.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we all need a roof over our head to some degree, but you know, it's so we need things. So
there and and to survive, we need food,
house,
water.
Shelter, water, beer now and again,
beer, wine,
and good friends and community. I think another thing is, speaking of that word, community, to me that's very important to me. You know, and I didn't really find I'll learn that sense of community till I was around 30, when I became involved with African drumming, and I met some amazing people. Just people who are very quirky and had a lot in common with their sense of wanting a little bit more out of life, and that music was a central theme, and the sense of just being with people, and we could communicate. A lot of people in that scene were introverts and weren't really good at communicating with their voice. And so you could communicate just by sitting in a circle and playing music.
And playing,
And getting some sense of belonging and meaning through that. And then I moved down south, away and out of suburbia into the lovely, Clarenvale area, and in Wollonga there was just a beautiful community of people who would connect and saw life in a similar sense to what I did, which I'd never found when I was living in suburbia.
Wow.
So that's been really nice, just to meet people on a similar wavelength.
Was there like a pivotal thing? Did something draw you there, or was it just happenstance? You just
no, I got a really deep feeling, like a really maybe it was that sock puppet.
It could have been the sock puppet. We all have one.
I remember I was working in a country town one day. Russell. And it had lovely wide streets, that big old wide streets that weren't full of traffic. And people were saying, "Oh, go on there," and I love that. Friendliness, and I love a bit of space around me. And I remember driving home from that job on that particular day, and I've got an inner hillbilly in me. And my brother rang, and I've got my on the phone in the car on my headset, and he goes, how you going? And I said, "I got me a hankering, boy." He says, "What you got your hankering for?" I said, "I'm going to get myself some country air." And so I said, "I want to move out from where I'm at and move down south." He goes, "Well, funnily enough, I want to move into the house that you're in." So we did that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
You did a house swap?
Well, I moved out and he moved into where I was. So, that was one of the best things that ever did. Just having that hankering, the inner knowing that you need something.
And actually, to follow that, so you were not a procrastinator then, because you listened.
I'm not really a procrastinator. I'm just not.
I was just going with the story.
I'm not a go-getter. Although when I get the hankering, I am a go-getter. But the hankering has to be there. Otherwise, there's nothing. Oh, comments from the chief.
What was that?
What's going on?
Has to be food.
Food involved. No,
so
not always.
Like a carrot or a burger.
I don't like carrots. Burger?
Maybe a burger. Maybe corn fritters.
Yeah, and hummus.
Okay, we're not quite ready yet though, darling. It's only 4:39.
Oh, wow.
No, it doesn't always have to be food related, although that helps. But yeah, change of address and change of scene is always good for the soul. And speaking of food, when I first met Molly, she'd invite me over for dinner. Of course, that was a nice carrot on a stick, if I want a better word.
Dinner on a stick.
Yeah. So that was it's always nice for a single man to get an invite to a lovely lady's house for dinner.
I know, that's kind of lovely.
Yeah, that didn't... Yeah.
You're not going to procrastinate about that one. It's like,
I'm not going to say, let me think about that, I'll put that off to tomorrow.
It's like, right, I'm in. I'm there.
I'll be there with bells on. Don't mind if I do.
Niggle. I think maybe we all have a little term for it. So yeah, the niggle, the little nudge niggle from the universe, and you got the hankering sort of thing. But there is that pull, isn't there, to certain things, and it's like, it's almost undeniable. It's like if you cannot listen to it, but it's like, it goes back to that knowing. You just know you should and you must.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise, there will be that regret, like if you're tuned in.
Yeah, it's a good part of getting to know yourself is realising that I'm feeling this. Do I act? Yeah. And if you don't act, maybe the voice gets a bit stronger, and it's like, shut up! I'm not listening to you.
Little sock puppet.
But then it's like, woo.
Rusty.
Rusty. So, I think that's important, and important to listen to it. And I think for me, one of best books or series of books I read regarding that sort of thing was the Celestine Prophecies. Have you ever read that?
Yes.
Yeah, they were really good. What an eye-opener.
Actually, I must reread. Yeah, I've got a lot of books I want to reread that I've read a while ago, and now it's time to have that reminder.
Sometimes it's good to touch base again, isn't it? But if I hadn't honoured those, chasing those intuitions, then I wouldn't have had, the changes that were needed to find, contentment.
And self-expansion, I think, too. Like, if we don't kind of go to that next calling, we might not expand as like the beings that we are.
Yeah. So personal growth.
Yeah.
It's all part of personal growth. It's not all about money. It's just more about personal growth, really, isn't it? To be happy and content, to feel at peace with who we are, get to know ourselves better as we get older. And that's one thing I like about getting older, is you get to enjoy, the lessons learned and how it abides in your heart and how it sort of you gain some personal strength and resolve through honouring those things.
Yeah, and I too, like, I love, as the decades pass, like, I found when I got to my 30s, so I had that moment again. I think I was 32, 33, and it was jumping into the unknown, and it was scary. And that was like with my relationship with the boy's dad. So that was like a 14-year relationship. And then I had to move on. And I knew I had to move on, but it was scary. And I can remember just crying, not out of grief, but it was more relief in a way.
Maybe mixed feelings?
I think so,
yeah.
Because I also feel like no matter what with everyone through ups and downs, like, to always cherish the experience, good and bad, because it's never all bad with anyone. It's, there's so many nuances and dynamics to really, never disregard any relationship, because it all has value. And, but then I sort of started again, but I felt that growth, like, just from doing that, but it was scary at the time. And then I grew into this expanded version of myself, and then went, started over again. And then, as you know, I've sort of, the same things happened again.
Yeah.
And now I've expanded. I was into the unknown, which was scary. Yeah. But I can feel that expansion again into this, calling into my
new version
of myself. That I don't feel like I could deny that. I think that's just, part of life. But I'm glad. I answered the call. I think. But,
it's tricky, like, and for me, leaving a relationship, like especially my marriage, when I had two lovely girls, for me, I think the worst part was knowing you're hurting someone. Your partner who probably, doesn't see the need to, break up as much as maybe you need to, and I felt so bad that I was hurting Louise. Maybe we can cut that name out. The girls, I felt bad about leaving the girls' mum, and leaving the girls as well. But sometimes you got to put yourself first. I think there is. It's not bad to be selfish sometimes. If we want to give the most of ourselves, then we have to be a bit selfish as well sometimes to, garner our strength through being the best version of ourselves possible.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that, because ultimately we're all on a soul journey, but we come together, we have people in our lives, and I think in our society though, just think through marriage, the most prominent vow is till death do us part. We must stay together till we die. But really, in reality, we should be going, you know what, let's come together, let's, enjoy the most of this dynamic, and, if it doesn't work out, let's go, okay, it wasn't, we had a good time, let's value the good stuff, and then amicably sort of go, alright, let's allow each other to grow individually. Because it doesn't always, I think there's a certain time, it's not like you come together with someone and you're meant to be together as a partnership forever. Sometimes they kind of run their course, but in our society we've been conditioned to go till death do us part.
Yeah, that's for
so
sure.
dramatic,
isn't it?
it?
And then we feel guilty that it hasn't worked
bad.
out. Totally. The only thing there's polarities in every situation, and so there's good things about the parents staying together. I'm certainly glad my parents stayed together because, I wouldn't like to think of what life was like otherwise.
But you don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, now I see in our generation, we've all chosen to say, you know what, this isn't working for me. I need to change and maybe walk away from what's not serving me, which is good and beneficial for us. But I think the kids suffer to some degree. I think, and not saying this about any of our kids, but there is a sense of entitlement I find amongst the young people, which I find concerning. But I think that's also because of a lot of them have had their parents split up, and then the parents sort of almost, I won't say battle, but it's almost like a battle to become the favourite parent or give the kids more of what they want, and so they end up getting everything they want without trying. Anyway, that's just my assumption, but it's not easy on the kids.
I think though it's for especially some kids, and this is another thing like a little saying I've heard, it's better to come from a broken home than be in one. But for kids, like, if their parents aren't happy together, that they can feel that energy.
Yeah.
So they'll pick up on that, and there'll always be this sort of,
and then you end up modelling to your kids that it's okay to be in a bad relationship.
Yeah, and stay somewhere where you're not happy. So I think the worst thing when you do go separate ways is if kids are pulled in the middle like that. If they're used at all for any sort of games between parents, and it's not like the adult world is not their problem. We should never ever bring them into our adult problems. Let them be kids, just love them.
Yeah, it's easier said than done though, because personally speaking, the parents can harbour ill feelings towards the other, and then you can't help but vent in front of your kids about blah blah blah, your mother or your father or whatever, and then the kids sort of take that on. And
no, but that's not fair for the kids. We need to, as big people, go, you know what, no matter what, one rule, none of it in front of the kids. And just stick with that, because it's not their problem. Kids are meant to be kids and be carefree.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not easy.
No, it's not. Especially when emotions are involved.
Yes.
We're only human. Well, we're not. We're spirit as well.
Yeah, a bizarre blend.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And that's like, we're more spirit than human. It's just we don't realise that.
No, we kind of think of ourselves more of human as humans but I think we're immortal beings having a human experience.
Yeah, me too.
And not to take it all too seriously, really. But we can't help be serious when there's all these dramas unfolding around us and such forth. But
But that's the world we're creating, isn't it? We create, because this is like, in the spiritual realm, this is what I'm gathering, this is like, there's a big lineup of all our spiritual folk. This is like biggest game there is, the biggest experience is to come here and be in this physical form. Like, we've been lining up for years to get in.
Crikey,
and we got in.
I should have read the fine print more. Like, what was I signing up for?
But it is hard too, because just think, like, in our spiritual form, we're like light. We're not in.
And we
these
probably don't have
bodies.
any dramas, you know.
No, there's no drama at all. There's just being.
Yeah.
And we come here and we're in
I'll be like up there in the spirit realm going, "Hey, Care, what are you doing today?" Just being again. Again? Well, yeah, that's what you were doing yesterday. Well, yeah, true.
It's what I do eternally. I be. I just be. That's why this is such an experience, because in our spiritual form, that is it, we're being. You know, which is wonderful. It feels good. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. But when we come here, this is like going to the show, going to, you know, and going on all the rides and feeling and tasting. Like, we don't have cotton candy in the spiritual realm. We can't eat food. We can't drink wine. You know, this is it. This is our time to experience this.
In that case.
Cheers. So, and I think that's mostly lost on most of us, though. I don't think if we really thought of our experience as that, you know, maybe we'd just really all not take it too seriously and enjoy it for the fact that we get to taste and touch and smell. You know, this is why we have these senses.
You try telling me that at 5:30 in the morning when my alarm goes off. Yeah, that is, but you're right. There's stuff like that, you know, when your alarm goes off and you're just like, "Argh." But, you know, there's lots of great things too. So it's all, you've got to sometimes sit back, or maybe meditation, or for me, I need a few particular aids in meditation to sort of help me switch off the monkey mind. Yeah. Which I don't see anything wrong with.
No.
And you've got to take that high perspective, you know.
That of your higher self, allow your higher self to kind of give some input.
Yeah, and you can look back and you can look down at your life and go, actually, you know what? I'm quite content with it, you know. Yeah, I mean, I have to get up at a time of day when I'm not happy with, but, you know, I go to work and I talk shit with my friends. And sometimes, you know, I'm laughing hard at work and I'm thinking, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this.
I know, how lucky am I?
There's something on your phone there. Is that saying something?
Oh, yeah, what's it saying? Camera error. Okay, let me get that back up. Well, how long was that there for? Not too long, I hope. Let's just re-record. Oh, it's around the wrong way. Stop! Sorry about that, folks. Thank you for pointing that out. I was oblivious.
No worries. Well, we're talking, you know, that's what happens. So is that one filming or that one filming?
That's filming, that's filming, and that's filming.
Oh my lordy, there's three of me.
This one's on you. There we go. Because you're my star of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we?
So we were talking about being, living, experiencing, tasting, touching, smelling, but it is balance, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
balance. Once again, it's that balance.
It's like I'm very content in a very easygoing life. Like, I don't want to be going on roller coasters every day. I don't want to be driving down the highway in my Ferrari at 200 k's an hour. I actually have, you know, my life experience is so subtle. Like, I don't, you know, even though this is like the game of life, I don't need to be it being super exciting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm hearing you. I like to be, I like to be doing cool things now and again, but I also like my quiet time. You know, I like doing things and I like not doing things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think Molly would like me to do things a bit more than I do. Then there's that battle of, push and pull.
The balance.
Balance.
Yeah.
But that's all good. That's just part of life.
It is, isn't it? What would be your ideal weekend?
Maybe being out in the garden with Molly. A bit. Not too much.
Not all day. Not all day.
Like one of my most favourite things to do
One of the
is sit outside on my
peculiar bands I've been in. I love all the people in it.
You're in it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we get on stage and
different
we've
varieties.
got absolutely
relax.
nothing
Relax.
planned.
Relax.
But typical
Chill
of a bunch of
music on.
guys.
Yeah,
And
just get
enjoy.
together.
Get together,
and see
no
what
rehearsals,
It's part
get
of
on stage and go,
Getting
what the hell are we
out.
doing?
Getting out.
happens. Yeah, somebody start something.
Yeah, lucky we're not all members of
We
the
know that's
Procrastination
I
Association.
saw you crying. Everybody's watching. There's the cricket going in the
You need
background.
to go to the bathroom.
So
I love to get out
it's
my
a lesson
e-bike
in
and go for a ride through the countryside.
allowing
One day.
Catching up with friends, making music.
just seeing what happens.
Because Rusty's actually an
Everyone
amazing
appreciating,
drummer, like percussion
their
drummer. It's just-
differing talents. That's one of those very rare species
Got up
of
some friends yesterday and
Carpet!
carpet pythons or something.
and it's called Zen Garden.
Just sneaking back over there.
Yeah, music's one of my
Few of the
favourite
bands I've been in. I love all the people in it.
Oh, you're in it?
Yeah. And we get on stage.
Speaking of
and
gardening, right, I've got a funny story to tell.
Oh, do tell.
nothing
Do
planned.
A
tell.
few years ago
Typical of a
now,
bunch
Molly
of
had
guys.
arranged
Yeah, just get together.
Get together,
Several
no
times.
rehearsals, get on stage and
mulch
go.
to live on the
That's a
front
lot of
driveway.
love.
It was a big pile.
Yeah, somebody start something.
And,
Yeah, lucky we're not all members of
Guess
the
what comes down
Procrastination
to food?
Association.
Oh, you're so there.
On the
Everybody just-
day-
When it comes to the shoveling of
Yeah.
the mulch.
Yeah, so there was me,
It's a lesson
comatose in the front room whilst I
With
could
your
hear,
man flute.
and with my man flute, and whilst I could hear Molly swearing and cursing in the front
seeing
yard,
what happens.
shoveling tons of mulch from the front to the
Appreciating
back.
their
Oh, stop.
differing talents.
Sit back on my
That's one of those
in the
very
lounge
rare
chair.
species
They
of
got the flu.
dabbing it.
carpet pythons or something.
Where's my belly? Sneaking back
Bring me a
over
cup of
there.
tea. So yeah, that's
So,
what I said. We
yeah,
haven't
music's
forgotten.
one of my favourite things
Keep getting reminded of it now and again.
to do.
So, anyway, she's planning on getting a few ton of mulch delivered next weekend.
And you're planning on coming down with the
Big
flu.
comfy, I think a bit of a tickle in the throat.
Getting it arranged.
Wouldn't that be hilarious? So I wouldn't. But if you actually do
It
come
was a
down
big
with the
pile.
flu again, it's like, what?
And
You'd be thinking, no, you're faking
guess who
it.
comes down with the
Got
flu
to be faking.
on the
When
day?
it comes to the
Anyway,
shoveling.
from my
Yeah.
point of view, at the time it
Yeah,
was
so
perfect.
there was me
For hers, it was completely.
comatose in the front room whilst
Completely, yeah.
No, she didn't see the
with
funny
my
side
man
of
flute,
it.
and whilst I could hear Molly swearing and cursing in the front yard,
That's a lot of
shoveling
mulch.
tons of mulch
That's
from
like
the front
cars
to the
of
back.
Yeah, it was big.
Back on my in the lounge
So,
chair,
yeah,
They got the flu.
dabbing it. Oh, I'm
I
feeling.
can't wait till next week to find out
Where's
what
my
happens.
girls?
Bring me a cup of tea.
He go, I'll see Molly at work.
So
She'll
yeah, that's
go,
one of those things we haven't. Keep getting reminded of it now and again.
who would have thunk it? What are the odds?
Yeah.
Anyway, she's planning on getting a few ton of mulch delivered next weekend.
You're
Anyway.
planning on coming down with the
Big
flu.
comfy. I think a bit of a tickle.
Well, it's nice to get
throat.
into well, Molly's not being
Wouldn't that
50
be
so much
hilarious? So I
longer.
wouldn't.
But
But
I like being in my
if you
50s
actually
because
come
I've
down
come
with
to a
the
bit of
flu
a
again, it's like,
sense of peace with
you'd
myself
be thinking,
and
no, you're
life.
faking it.
And,
You got
as
to
much
be
as it's
faking
not-
it.
always beer and Skittles.
Anyway, from my point of view, the timing was perfect
you know,
to get a
you kind
flu.
of
But
learn
hers,
to
it was
sort of
probably-
roll with the punches.
Completely, yeah.
No, she didn't see the funny side of it as much as what I
Yeah, I
did.
think
No, I probably
Yeah,
would. There's
I
2
feel
tons
life's
of mulch.
roads,
That's a lot
bumpy
of
roads,
mulch. That's
goes from the
couple of
extremes
cars.
into a little bit more of a
Yeah.
smoother ride.
Yeah, because it's like, I think when we're
So
younger,
NHM
like,
let you forget that one.
it's
Yeah.
up, down. And as we
can't wait
kind of
till next
navigate a
week
bit
to find
more,
out what
it's more like this. It's not like, we don't want it to be like that.
No, that'd be
we don't want to
boring.
be
You go, I'll see
outlined.
Molly at
Yeah.
work.
But
She'll
it's
go,
more this
"Got the
generous
flu."
that we have a bit of stuff that we might not.
Who would have
like,
done
but
it?
it's
What are
easy
the
to
odds?
navigate,
Yeah.
and the more you navigate, the more it'll pass. It's kind of nothing.
But anyway,
Yeah.
And then
And if you have a
we
if you have a bad day, you kind of
good
go,
balance in life. And it's nice to get
tomorrow
into
will be
a
different.
well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
this tree
Molly's
shall
not 50 so much longer.
Everything
But
is
I like
transient.
being in my 50s because
So,
I've
I
come
think
to
that's
a
what I
bit
like
of
about getting older.
a sense of peace with myself
You just
and
think,
life.
shrug it off a bit more,
You know, as much as it's not
knowing that it's not permanent.
always
and
beer and
it,
Skittles.
does it really matter?
You know,
I mean,
kind of
obviously
learn
stuff
to
matters,
sort of,
but when we
roll
get
with the
caught up
punches
in our
and,
emotions,
Yeah.
it's like I think.
yeah, I think.
I've
I
learned
think
more
for
not to
life,
get so
roads, bumpy roads.
caught up
Goes from
emotionally, but
extremes
just go,
into a little
okay,
bit more of a
it doesn't mean things are
smoother
easy.
ride.
Yeah, because it's like,
But
I think
it's
when
not
we're
the end of the
younger,
world.
like,
As I remember,
It's-
Yeah.
sometimes
up,
it's
down.
been,
And
when
as we
stuff
kind
come
of
up, it's like,
navigate
oh
it
my
more,
god,
it's not
what am I
like-
going to do?
we don't want to do
Yeah.
like
Oh,
we don't want
boring.
to flat
you know,
line.
20
Yeah.
But
or
it's
something.
more this general
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
like we have a bit
30s,
of stuff that we might not
I
like,
started
but it's
to
easier
really
navigate,
find my
and the more you
foothold in
navigate,
life.
it'll pass. It's kind of
And then
nothing.
40s,
Yeah.
oh my goodness,
And if you have
it's
a,
not 40s.
if you
And
have a
now,
bad
I'm
day, you
sort
kind
of,
of go, tomorrow will be different.
Yeah, it's too
Don't ask me.
I'm actually,
Everything's
so I'm
transient.
going to be 49 this
So,
year.
yeah, I think that's what I like about
So then
getting older.
next year will be the 50s, but
Just think
it
that,
just
shrug it
keeps
off a bit
getting
more.
better and better. So
Yeah,
I'm
but it's
like,
not
bring it
permanent.
on.
and it,
Yeah,
does it
bring on
really
every
matter.
decade because
I
I
obviously
feel
stuff matters, but
more
when we
myself
get
as I
caught
go
up in
on.
our
Yeah,
emotions,
kind of.
it's like, I
As a
think,
society, we kind of think,
well, I've learned
oh, I'm
more
turning
about
40 or I'm
so
turning 50, I'm getting old,
caught up
and then.
emotionally,
But
but
yeah,
just
there's
go,
nothing, there's
okay,
nothing wrong with getting
it
older. I
doesn't mean
think it's
things
good.
are easy.
Beautiful. but
And
it's
Molly's
not
turning
the
60
end
soon,
of
and
the
she's
world.
having a big party.
I know.
And she's going to be, we're all going to be very mature and dressed up
Oh
in our
my god! What are you gonna
disco
do?
outfits.
Like,
I've just ordered a pair of purple
Yeah.
corduroy
Yeah,
flares
Yeah, I
from
was
the
going to say
UK.
you got some
I
flares.
started to
Some
really
very
find
pointy
my
winkle
foothold
picker
in life.
shoes that I'm probably going to be tripping
And then
over every
40s,
5
oh my
minutes.
goodness, I was
But I'll
lovely.
just
So
turn
now,
it all
I'm
into a
sort of,
sexy dance.
I know. Have you got?
Don't ask me.
I'm actually so
I've got a
I'm gonna be
new
49.
velvet jacket, purple
wow.
velvet
So
jacket.
then next year
So,
will be the 50s,
yeah,
but it
I'm gonna
just
be
keeps getting
busting my moves on the D floor.
So I'm gonna bring it on. Bring on okay. So I
Maybe
feel
probably not quite as
more
much gusto as I would
myself
have
go on.
a few years
Yeah,
ago.
kind of
I'm
think,
sure
yeah,
you
as
bring
a
it. Bring it
society,
for
we
the
kind of
night.
think,
Yeah, potentially.
oh, I'm turning
Because
40
one night
or
I'm going to
turning
bring
50,
all
I'm getting
my
old,
energy
and
to
then-
this moment
There's
and
nothing-
rock
there's
the
nothing wrong with getting
Casbah.
older, I think it's good.
Beautiful.
And Molly's turning
So they
60
say.
soon, and she's having a
Yeah,
big party.
no, it'll be good.
No.
And she's
So,
going to be,
it's nice to
we're all going to be very mature and dressed
honour
up
the
in
inner
our
child as well as you get older.
Fine.
disco
That's
outfits.
one of the things that matters.
I've just
keeping
ordered
a
a
sense
pair
of
of
humour.
purple
And to keep that
corduroy
element
flares
of
from
play,
the
and
UK.
often in life,
And some
you know,
very
as we
pointy
get older,
winkle
you know, it's even
shoes
when we're
that I'm probably going to be
teenagers, it's
tripping
like,
over every 5
what are you
minutes.
do? You got to do this, you
But I'll
got to
just
do
turn
that,
it
you got to
all
go to
into a
uni, you got to
sexy
buy a house, you got to
dance.
get a job. Like, I think we lose
Have
that
you got the long
to a certain
lapel
extent.
shirts?
Yeah,
As we
I've
I've
become
got a new
adults.
velvet jacket, purple
Wow.
velvet jacket.
And
So,
you know,
yeah,
we can
I'm
get
gonna be
serious, but
busting my moves on the
it's
D
so
floor.
important to connect with that inner child. And I'm kind of going.
Maybe
So I think it's solar
Probably
plexus.
not
is
quite
like,
as much gusto as I would have.
inner child.
years ago.
chakra, isn't
I'm
it?
sure you'll bring
Was
it.
that the
Bring
same-
it for
We
the night.
can.
Yeah, potentially.
He goes, one night, I'm
Sure.
going to bring all my energy to this
It's your power
moment
centre.
and rock the
Yeah,
house.
well,
Solid-
that's right,
solid,
and that's the sun. You know what I started doing.
So
You
they
should do
say.
this too.
Yeah, no,
Is
it'd be
when
good.
I go out for
And
my
so,
coffee
yeah,
in
it's
the
nice
morning
to,
and I'll sit on my swing chair
honour the inner child as
and
well
the
as you get
sun's
older.
coming up
That's
over there.
important.
I lift my
One of
top
the things that
up
matters.
and charge my solar
Keeping sense
plexus
of humour.
with sun.
But to keep that element of
Because
play,
it's the
like, I think
solar
often in life,
plexus.
as we
Yeah.
get older,
Oh, there ain't no sun at 5:45 in the morning.
Oh yeah,
you got to
that's
do
it.
this. You got to
You can do it at work and your
Yeah.
mates and you
got
go,
to get a
what
job.
does he do?
Like,
Yeah, have a look at him.
belly in the sun.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
insulting
Become
even more.
adults,
If that's possible.
adults,
But,
and
you know, don't
we
take it
can
so
get
seriously.
serious.
I often
but
have a laugh, you know, what I
it's
could
so
do. I mean,
important
because
to
I think
connect with that inner
I work in the
child.
building trade, and
And I'm
yeah,
kind of going.
the guys
so
there
I
are
think
great,
the
but, you know,
solar
we
plexus is like,
you do tend to take the
inner
masculine
child
role
chakra,
a little bit
is
too
it?
seriously, and
Is that
I
the
laugh
same? We
sometimes
can
about maybe
Make out
running,
it is.
my imagination. How fun it would be to
It's your
run
power
a
centre.
we go
So
there
that's
for
right,
solid,
and that's the
you know,
sun.
middle of the day for all the
You know what I
tradies on
started
site,
doing? You should do
and we
this
can
too.
keep
is
you know,
when I go out
wear
for
their
my coffee in the
safety
morning and I
boots,
sit on my
Yeah.
swing
doing their
chair
yoga class with their
and the sun's coming up
high
on
vis
their
tops and their hard hats if they want to
and
choose that.
charge myself
Yeah.
You know?
plexus.
While you're doing
Yeah.
yoga. You know what? You should do it. You should
Because
just
it's
suggest
solar
it. And,
And you could have this like really chill
Yeah.
yeah.
music on.
Oh, there ain't no sun
That
at
would
quarter
actually
to
be
6 in the
really
morning.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and they'd all be
You
there.
could do it
and
at work and your
Yeah.
mates and you go, what does he do?
doing, I know, boys, we're going to do the downward dog.
Son.
Yeah,
And then followed by the,
even
Nobody make
more.
a joke.
Yeah, no farting, please.
Never
Like,
farting.
But you know,
And-
don't take it so
Sometimes
seriously.
that's hard with
I often have a
Yeah.
laugh at what I could do.
and,
I
I'm just imagining the
guys
guys
in
in
the
their,
building trade
you know,
and
in their work
yeah,
gear doing
the
their
guys
yoga
there are
class.
great, but yeah, we do tend
Maybe
to
you should just
masculine
start.
role
You let them know.
really
Say,
seriously,
look,
and I
I'm going to
laugh
start
sometimes
doing
about
this at
maybe
lunch. If you want to
running,
join me coming up, start
yeah,
doing
my
it. And I bet at some
Yeah.
point
how
you'll
fun it would
get
be to run a
some of them one at a time.
a yoga
Before
class.
you know it, you got everybody.
Middle of the day for all the traders on site.
Oh,
And
no,
we-
I
Is
don't.
that wishful thinking?
Where they're
And then you say,
Safety
right, this time we're going to
doing a
film
yoga
it.
class.
Yeah. Oh, look, I already,
Share it
High
with the
vis
world.
tops and the hard
other
hats if they
people.
want to choose
I already
that.
pushed some
Yeah.
buttons with my
While
musical
you're doing
choice.
yoga.
I mean,
You know what?
I
You
love
should
all
do it.
different
You
genres
should
of
just
music.
suggest it.
And
And
could have this like really chill
Play my music,
Yeah.
at
Music
work,
on.
You know, mostly I work on my own.
that would actually be
But
really
sometimes, you
cool.
know,
yeah, and they'd all
someone
be
will
there.
walk in and I'm playing the most random or obscure
Doing,
music.
"Righto,
and they
boys,
kind of
we're gonna
look
do
at
the
you as if
downward
to say,
dog."
Oh my lord!
And then followed
going on
by
here?
Nobody make a joke.
yeah,
And
no
then so,
farting, please.
Never
Well,
farting.
I had some
And
James, sorry,
Sometimes
Miles
that's hard
Davis
with yoga
playing.
because
Yeah.
you're so
And
relaxed.
this
And
plumber walked in
just,
and he's
just
kind of
imagine the guys in there.
looking around going, what the
their
hell
work
is this
gear
guy
doing the
on?
yoga
It's the
class.
mainstream.
Yeah.
Maybe you should
Yeah.
just start. You let them
That's
know.
all
Say,
good. So, no,
"Look,
I think I'll
I'm going
refrain
to
from
start
yoga
doing this
classes.
at lunch. If
In
you
my
want to join me
imagination,
coming
I
up,
think it'll be a lot of
start
fun.
doing it.
Yeah,
And I bet
yeah,
at some
weird.
point,
I kind of, when you first said
One at
it,
a
I
time.
imagine
Before
on
you know it,
site
you got
they all
everybody.
had leg warmers on.
Oh,
My imagination just went,
Yeah,
And then you
imagine
say,
all those
right,
tough
this time
blokes
we're
getting in touch
film
with their
it.
feminine side of
Yeah.
their yoga
Oh, look, I
class.
already-
Share it with the
Oh,
world.
hilarious.
Other people.
I already pushed some buttons with my musical choice. I mean,
do
I
you
love all
think,
different
like,
genres of
I
music
think
and
guys have had
play my
a bit of a
music
hard
at
time.
work,
It's
you know.
like,
Mostly I
you're
work on my
kind
own.
of told you
Yeah,
can't
sometimes,
cry,
you know,
you can't be soft, you got to be a man.
Someone will walk
like,
in
you
and I'm
found
playing
that
the most
in life.
random or
Oh,
obscure
definitely.
Yeah,
music,
and I
they're
think
kind of
it's-
looking at you
that's
as if to
really
say, "Oh
harsh
my Lord,
because
what the heck's
our
going on
guidance
here?"
system is based on our feeling
so,
and emotions.
you
Like, and
know,
if you
one day I
if you
had
shut them
James,
off, how are you going
sorry,
to
Miles Davis
navigate
playing.
through life?
Yeah, yeah.
Plumber
I
walked
think
in and he's kind of looking around, going, what the hell
guys-
is this guy on?
Where's
You
the
know,
mainstream?
Yeah.
conditioned
Anyway, that's all
to
good.
be
So,
overly
no, I think I'll refrain from
masculinised,
yoga classes, but in my imagination, I think it would be a lot
you know,
of
this
fun.
is not having a go at
I kind of, when you first said
That's,
it, I
you know,
imagined
sporting
on
and this and
site,
that, but
but you
it's-
all had leg warmers on.
like
My imagination just
You
went,
know,
boing.
Yeah, imagine all those
It's all
tough
good
blokes
like
getting in touch with their feminine side at a yoga class. You know, oh,
And as a
hilarious.
man, you can like
Why not?
going to the ballet or being a ballet
I think, do
dancer
you
or
think, like,
you know,
I think
it's.
guys
But I feel
had a-
like just
a bit
from
of a
my
hard time. It's
perspective
like,
of
you
what
kind of
I've
told, you can't cry, you can't be
gauged,
soft,
that
you've got to be
whole,
a man.
oh, you're a
Like,
man,
I found
don't
that
cry.
in
I think
life.
that's a harsh
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and I think it's,
to kind of
that's
come
really
in
harsh
if I was a
because
man to go.
our guidance
So if I
system
feel
is
like
based on our feeling
that
and
I
emotions.
can't
Like, and
because
if you,
I'm
if
gonna
you
be
have to shut them
judged
off, how
or-
are you gonna
Yeah, because
navigate
that
through
release
life?
sometimes
Yeah,
is so
yeah. I
important.
think
yeah, definitely.
guys.
Definitely. So, yeah, and I think in a way, you know, because I've rarely cried, very rarely cried. I think the most I ever cried was when my dog died,
Not having a go.
like unconditionally, just letting go.
You know, sporting.
And yet, as a guy, you go through all this stuff,
Yeah,
like
you don't
divorce
like footy,
and, you know, this and that,
wrong with
and, you know, I was just
You know,
like, oh, yeah, it is what it is, and
and
I
it's
didn't
all
really
good to
shed a
like footy,
tear,
but
but, you know,
you
your
don't
dog
feel
dies and you're like
No,
a
it's
blubbering mess.
And as a
Yeah,
guy,
but a dog is a
you
man's best friend.
ballet or
Like,
be
that's
a
hard.
ballet dancer.
Um,
I'm not.
But yeah, I think guys
It's-
are
But
conditioned.
I feel like,
And, you know,
just from
it's-
my perspective of
that
what
conditioning
I've
goes so deep. And
gauged, that whole, oh, you're a man.
it is what it is,
I
though, you know.
think
It's
that's
only
a
our,
harsh
it's only our
thing
temporary human
to-
vehicle.
To kind of, you know,
Well,
if
so it's
I
not a-
was a man to go, so if I feel like
Well, this conditioning,
that I
may
can't
last a
because
lifetime,
I'm
but
going to be judged or...
it's not forever.
No.
Yeah, because that
And it
release
seems like
sometimes
this-
is so important.
You know, some people
Yeah,
call it
yeah,
the meat sack. So, you know, I sort of think of it like a
and I
vehicle,
think,
like this is
in
our
a way,
car
because
or whatever,
I've
and our
very rarely
self is
cried.
kind of just in it, but this is not
Most
who
of
I
it cried when
am.
my dog died.
This is just what gets
Like,
me around
Yeah,
while
in this
I'm
experience,
here.
yeah.
In this experience,
And
yeah.
yet, as a
And obviously
guy,
you
goes
have
through all
to
this stuff,
look after
like
it, take it for a
divorce and,
service.
you know,
You know,
totally.
Look, make sure you
Yeah,
put the
it is what it
right
is,
fuel
and I didn't
in
really
and
shed a
everything
tear,
like we
but,
do.
yeah,
Our
dog
actual
dies and you're like
vehicles,
a
but
blubbering
this is
mess.
not us.
But
This
a
is
dog
just
is a man's best friend.
a
Yeah.
chill.
And,
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
hard.
you know,
Yeah,
like
I
on
think guys
Friday
are
I got a
conditioned.
massage. It's like an important
Yeah,
part of maintaining
That
the vehicle as well. You know,
Mm.
just getting, you know, looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
eating
what it
well,
is,
and
though, you know. It's only
you
our,
know,
it's
also
only a
enjoying a
temporary
beer on the
human
odd
vehicle.
occasion.
Where's
Well,
balance?
that's
Yeah.
Right. I actually was at, you know, because I've been
May last a
going
lifetime,
spiritual
but
way, and then I kept
it's not
hearing
forever.
every now and then
No.
about,
And
oh,
this
you
is
can't drink
like-
alcohol, look,
You know, some people call it
but then,
Yeah.
but then I
so,
also
you know,
know
I
about
sort of think of it
alchemizing
like
and
a vehicle, like this is
transmutating
car,
energy.
whatever,
So whenever I do, and I
kind of just
I don't
in
drink
it, but this is
that much,
not
but I
who
enjoy
I
a
am.
wine. Or
This is
occasionally
just what
beer.
gets me around.
Yeah,
But
this
I always
experience,
bless
yeah.
in
with
this
good
experience,
health
yeah.
and
I
you know,
also
vitality and radiance, because I know
service.
water is
Yeah,
consciousness,
yeah, totally.
it's
Look, make sure
consciousness
you
in
put the right
everything
fuel in and
fluid.
everything like we
So
do our actual
you can
vehicles,
alchemize
but
that
this is not
to
us.
actually
This is
make
just-
it positive for you.
Yeah.
But there is the belief
And
system.
like,
So
a
my
car,
belief
you know, like
system
on
says if
Friday
I
I've got a
drink too
massage.
much, I'm going to
It's
feel
like
bad.
an important part of
So I
maintaining
find like I just don't
vehicles
drink
as well,
too
you know,
much,
just
but
getting, you know, looking after yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, eating well and
if I believed
also enjoying a beer on the
that I
odd
could
occasion.
drink whatever I
Where's
wanted
balance?
and I would be fine, I would.
I actually
Yeah.
was
But
at
3 years of
you know, 'cause I've been
conditioning, I'm
going
still at that
spiritual
point.
way, and then I
I
kept
don't
hearing
believe that
every
because
now
I've
and
had
then about
hangovers.
on
Because
it,
I've had
alcohol,
hangovers
look,
previously.
Yeah, I had a lot of hangovers in my 20s
then,
and 30s. And
But then I also know about alchemizing.
I know.
And I enjoy a few drinks.
Energy.
Most-
So whenever
most
I
days,
do,
you
and
know,
I
maybe one or
I
two
don't
when I get
drink
home from
that
work or
much,
whatever.
but I enjoy a wine.
But no hangovers.
Occasionally
That's the balance, isn't
Yeah,
it?
But
yeah.
I always
And
bless
just
it.
bringing that,
Health and
you know, because I know,
vitality and
you know, and I
because
listened to something a while
water
ago
is
too,
consciousness, and there's
and it's like
consciousness in
sometimes
every-
say someone
everything
has a
fluid.
very strict
So
diet
you
and doesn't
can
have anything bad
alchemize
for them,
that to
the
actually
stress
make it
of
positive
not
for you.
relaxing
But there is
and
the
allowing
belief
themselves to
system.
have
So
what they really
My
want
belief
can actually kill
system
them
says if I drink too
more
much, I'm
than
gonna feel
just
bad.
having a drink or
So I
having
find like
some
I
Kix
just
or
don't drink
chocolate
too much, but
Yes.
when they
Um,
want it, but it is the whole balance.
if I believe
My Libran friend.
whatever I
Well,
wanted,
Molly's
and I would
doctor
be
said to
fine,
her,
I
it's
would.
getting back a few years now,
Yeah.
but he
But
said,
3 years of conditioning, I'm still at that
who do you want to be? You
I
know,
don't believe
another,
because I've had hangovers.
Um,
Because I've had
have chocolate
hangovers
and be happy?
previously.
Yeah, I had a lot of
Or
hangovers
have
in
no
my
chocolate
20s
and be a bitch.
30s.
an unhappy bitch or something like that.
And I enjoy it.
Paraphrasing,
Yeah.
but you know,
Most days, I have,
you know, I
maybe
think
one or
we
two when I
deny
get home
ourselves
from
of
work,
whatever we
whatever.
enjoy.
No hangovers.
It's a
That's the
recipe for
balance.
disaster.
That could be worse. I think, like, in the world, stress
Yeah,
is one of the
I
biggest
know,
killers,
I
isn't
just
it?
choose
Like,
something
more than
one
anything
and
else.
two.
Like, when people
And it's
stress,
like sometimes say
that
someone
can
has
so
a
much
very strict diet and
dis-ease
doesn't
in the
have
body.
anything bad for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, totally.
Stress.
So just, you know, but still it's in
relaxing
moderation.
and allowing
Like, if
themselves to have
you
what they really
ate
want,
a
can
kilo
actually
of
give them
chocolate a
more
day,
than
which is a
just
lot of
having a
chocolate,
drink or having
that
some chips or
may
chocolate
not be overly good for
Yes.
your body.
when they want it, but it is.
What's a kilo? I'm just thinking, what do they come in, like 200 gram bars? And
Well,
then
Molly's doctor said to her,
blocks of
it's getting back a
chocolate
few years
or
now, but he
something.
said,
It's a lot of chocolate.
who do you want to
Yeah,
be?
no, I think I'd be feeling quite ill after that much.
Have chocolate.
Do you
and be
do you
happy.
like chocolate? What are your
Yeah, I have
vices?
no chocolate
Like
and
a
be a
wine,
bitch.
beer,
I don't have any
An
vices.
unhappy bitch or something like that. Paraphrasing.
Everyone has a vice.
You know,
What's a vice?
We
What's a
deny
vice?
ourselves
What is a vice?
that we enjoy.
Oh, what is the
you know,
definition
it's-
of vice?
It's a recipe for disaster.
That can be worse.
Except
I
for the
think,
one that you
like
end up
in
to
the
hold
world.
on to.
Yeah,
Stress is
that's a
one of the biggest
that's a
killers.
vice, but
That's
no,
a
that's not
vice.
one we
Like
could.
more
We,
So
than
a vice
anything
is
else, like when
something
people stress
that
that can cause so much dis.
I feel like I need to look it up, but something
Yeah,
that
yeah, totally.
you
feel
kind
bad.
of have-
Feel bad
but
about
still
it.
it's
So
in
is it something that you
moderation,
kind of feel
like,
bad about?
you-
I mean, I enjoy
a kilo of chocolate.
a lot of things, but I don't
which is
feel
a lot
guilty
of
about it.
chocolate.
I think it's something that
But
helps
that
you get
may
high.
not.
I
I
don't
think
think
we
it
need to
attracts-
look that up.
I'd say definitely not.
I don't think it attracts, like,
What's a kilo? I'm just just thinking, what do they come in, like 200
yeah.
gram bars? So they're
Yeah.
like 5.
that I won't go into. I don't feel guilty about them. I don't feel they detract from who I am.
Feeling quite ill after that.
I think maybe even they could
Do you
Enhance
like
enhance who I am.
A wine, a beer,
you know,
I
because
don't have any vices.
for me, the monkey mind,
everyone has a
it's
vice.
all very good
What's
when
a
you're
vice?
functioning in
What's a
life.
vice?
What is a vice?
Socialising,
What is
going
the
to work,
definition of vice?
this and that, paying your bills.
Except for the one that you wind
Being a
up
human.
holding to.
Yeah, that's
But
a
I really need
yeah,
to
that's a
switch
vice.
my
But that's not the one we could.
So a vice is something
As Westerners, I would say as well,
that
we're conditioned to
I
think that
feel
the
like I
monkey
need to
mind
look
is
it up.
completely
That's
normal.
something that
No,
you
it's
feel
kind
bad.
of
Things
have
feel bad about
A lot of
yourself. Is it
cultures
something
around
that
the
you
world
kind of feel bad about? I mean,
People
I
can talk
enjoyed
meditation from young age.
a
or
lot of
whatever.
things, but I don't feel guilty about it.
I think it's something
the
that
Indian,
helps you
the
get
Indians
by.
with their
I think we need to
spirituality
look
and
that up.
amongst others, they're
I
very
think
calm.
like-
They're very calm people. You know, as Westerners, we're just like
intoxicants,
looking for the next
that
big
I won't
thing.
go
You
into.
know, what am I doing? Oh, I've
I
got to
don't feel
be
guilty
achieving,
about it. I don't feel
Yeah,
that
be
detracts from who I
productive.
am.
productive,
Ticking off the list.
ticking boxes.
Maybe even they
Yeah.
could
Enhance who you are.
enhance
much as
who
you
I
need
am.
to a degree.
You
It's,
know,
it's,
because
you've got to
for me,
step off the treadmill now and again.
Monkey mind.
Because that monkey
You know,
mind too,
it's
the
all very
way
good when you're
I
functioning in life.
sort of understand it is,
Socialising,
that's
going
like
to
us
work.
constantly talking.
Isn't that
And if we're
paying your
constantly
bills?
talking, where's the
Being a
space
human.
to listen?
But
So
I
when we
really need to
clear
switch my
that
mind.
constant chitter chat of the monkey,
As Westerners, I would say,
that's
as
when
well,
we have like a
we're
higher
conditioned
self or like
to
our
think that the
spiritual
monkey mind
guides
is
or
completely
you know
normal.
the Most High God, Allah, whatever you want to call it,
Intention
source
disorder,
energy
yeah.
is able
Who have
to
been
come
taught
into that
meditation from a young
space.
age or
But while
whatever.
we're chitter chattering away, there's no room for it. It's like
the Indians
if
with
I'm
their
constantly
spirituality
talking
and
at you,
amongst
when do
others,
I get to
they're
listen
very
and
calm.
learn? Like
They're very
Yeah,
calm.
yeah.
I can't learn from my own voice. I know
Westerners, we
my
just like
voice, so I know what I'm
looking for the
saying.
next
Everything
big
that
thing,
comes
you
out
know,
here.
what am I
But if I
doing?
give
Oh,
that
I've got to be
space for
achieving.
you,
Yeah, be
then I can
productive.
actually learn
Productive.
Ticking off
something.
the list.
Ticking
And that's
boxes.
the same
Yeah.
with the clearing of the
You
mind.
know, as much as we
Totally.
need to do that.
So yeah, I don't know what I mean. A vice is maybe something that
Step
ends
off
up
the
being
treadmill.
derogatory to your life,
Is that monkey
or
mind
maybe not
to the
healthy
way
for you.
I sort of understand
I don't know.
what it is?
I'm gonna leave
That's
that one
like
in
us
here,
constantly
but,
talking.
Look, I've got a
We're
few things that
constantly
maybe in my
talking,
life
where's
that
the space to
society
listen?
might frown
So
upon.
when we clear that,
Well, only certain streams of society. There's other streams that go, oh, is that all you do?
But I generally live a very conservative life.
Most
You know,
High
I
God,
go to work
Allah,
and,
whatever you want to call it,
Intentional,
source
sure,
energy,
yeah.
is able
and I'm
to
quite
come
content
into
with
that
that. That's part of just
space.
being a human.
But
You know, I'm
while
not
we're
gonna
chitter-chattering
probably
away,
climb
there's
Mount
no
Everest
room
or
for
jump
it.
out of a
It's
plane
like
with a
if
parachute.
I'm constantly
I
talking at
really
you,
can't be bothered
when
with
do
it.
I get
I know,
to
I'm kind of the
listen
same.
and
It's
learn?
like,
Yeah, yeah.
I can't learn from my own voice. I know.
I know
my
there,
voice.
you know, I know
what I'm
people
saying.
who
Everything
do that. I've done
comes
that. I've
out
got
here.
friends who have
But if
jumped
I
out
give
planes,
that
but I'm like,
space
it just
for you,
doesn't call to me. I have
can
no
actually learn
calling, no
something. And that's the
need
same with,
to
clearing
fall
of the
from a
mind.
great height.
So yeah, I don't know.
And
I
hope
mean,
that
advice
comes
is something that derogatory.
I just don't. I just don't.
Maybe not.
I'm
I
not.
don't-
Yeah, I'm not an
I don't get it.
adrenaline junkie, so
I don't know.
I get
I'm
my
like that one
kicks
in
out
here,
of
but
resting. Actually,
I've got a few things that maybe
with a nice
in my
banana
life
lounge.
society might frown.
Oh, this is a comfy. In fact, rocking chairs too. Rocking chairs are great.
This is
Exciting. There's other
so
streams that go,
me
oh,
and
is that what
client
you do?
love these chairs. And oh my
But I
god,
was
it's like we
generally
can't do
very
it now.
conservative
But
life, you
pull
know,
the
like, go to
thing
work
up.
and
Oh, yeah.
It's recliner and
socialise and make music,
you just lay
and I'm
back.
quite content with
So,
that. It's
as
part
much
of
as some people
being
get a kick out of adrenaline, I get a kick out of relaxing.
Take your recline.
Oh,
the parachute.
when my brother and I were very
I know,
young,
I'm
my
kind of the same.
grandfather was
It's
still
like,
alive. He was a bit of a role model, which is
I
probably a
know
little bit
that, you know, I know people who
interesting
do that,
because
have
he,
done that.
you know,
I've got
he wasn't
friends who
particularly.
jumped out of planes, but I'm like, it just
He had some
doesn't
bad
call to
habits.
me. I have
Anyway,
no
we called him Grumps because he was a
calling,
grumpy
no
old
need.
bastard. But he loved his lounge chair. And when he'd sit back in his lounge chair and he'd just go, oh!
I just don't.
It is.
I'm
I
not,
don't-
I'm not an
You know,
adrenaline
so
junkie,
to this day,
so,
my brother
you know,
and I
I
do the
get
same
my
thing.
kicks out of
Yeah.
resting, actually.
So we honour him with that.
With a nice banana
Yeah.
lounge.
Well, that
Oh,
is,
this is
isn't it
a
like
compliment. Rocking chairs too. Rocking chairs are great.
This is things.
nice.
You know, Mia and Kyle love these.
That's
chairs.
my way of honouring
And, oh
the
my goodness,
ancestors.
like,
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's a good one. They would love that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I've got
Recliner
this
and
little in my room, a little altar
Just
set
lay
up.
back.
I've got like
So,
crystals.
as much as
I've
some
got
people get a
my
kick out yoga
yoga
I get a kick out of
statue.
relaxation.
And I light a candle to my ancestors and my spiritual guides.
No,
And I
my
also,
brother
like last
and
night, I
very
gave them
young,
some
their
mint
grandfather was
chocolate.
still alive.
Sometimes I
He
give them
was
a
bit of
little
role
nip
model.
of wine in a little glass.
Crikey, interesting because he.
But-
I might have to sneak in.
He had some bad habits.
There's
Anyway.
the chocolates in there.
According to Grant, because he was a grumpy.
But I've been
bastard.
doing that for a while. Like,
But
I kind
he
of like
loved his lounge.
you know,
chair.
I've been
And when he'd
getting
sit
my
back in his lounge chair
downloads,
and he'd
having
just
my
go,
communication, and
Oh.
they love it. Like my guys
Yes.
are like,
Oh,
woohoo!
you know, and so to this day, my brother and I do the same thing.
But what ends up happening is
So we
I'll
honour him
leave
with
it there because
Yeah.
apparently, and this is what I've learned,
It's
you
right,
know,
like
it
the
takes a
little
while for them.
things.
Yeah.
It is
They
the
do,
little
they do
things in
absorb it.
life
But
that-
then at some point, what do you do with it? But
That's
then
my way of
my
honouring
kids
the
come and eat.
ancestors.
Yeah,
They're like, can we eat it yet, Mum?
They
Not
would
yet.
love that.
Can we eat it
You know,
yet,
I've got
Mum?
this
Not yet.
little in my
I don't know,
room,
drink the
a
little
little
nipple
altar
wine.
set up, a little
Oh.
Eventually I
my
go,
yoga
okay, that's long
statue.
enough. You can
And
now.
I light a candle
The
to my
chocolate and eat it.
ancestors and my spiritual guides.
But it's already
and
being
I also, like last
like
night, I gave them some mint
kind
chocolate.
of
Sometimes I give them a
energetically
little
absorbed
nip of wine.
by my
Little
spiritual
glass.
team.
Crikey.
What are the ones that have had the wine? Are they a bit
I might
tipsy?
have to sneak in and
Oh, gee whiz, that was mine and kind again.
Chocolates in
It
it.
reminds them of when
But I've been
they
doing
had
that for
their
a while. Like, I
time.
kind of
Okay, well
like,
that's nice.
you know, I've been
Ah, yes, this was
getting
one of
my
the finer things
downloads
about being on
and
there.
communication and
And I put
They
flour,
love it.
you know, it's
Like,
just,
my
I
guides
don't
are
all the time. It's like,
woohoo.
I'm learning to do it more because it's kind of like
But what
honouring
ends up happening
my-
is
and,
I'll
yeah,
leave
my
it there
ancestors, my
because
guides
apparently,
and
and this is
everything,
what I
they
learned, you know,
appreciate
it takes
and
a while
lighting
for
the candle
them.
for them and
They
lighting
do, they do
incense.
absorb
Oh,
it.
good work.
But then at some point, what do you do with it?
It's a
But
very,
then
is that a
my
Hindu
kids
sort
come
of,
and
or
eat.
Buddhist sort of
and they
tradition
like,
as
can
well?
we eat it yet, Mum? Not
No,
yet.
I don't
Can we
know.
eat it yet, Mum? Not yet.
Speaking of
I don't
wine
let
and
them drink
kids,
the little
like,
nip of wine.
that was one of the controversial things
Eventually I
did
go,
was I would
okay,
let
that's
my
long
kids have
enough.
a little bit
You
of
can
wine with dinner.
now take
Because I
the
thought,
chocolate and eat
oh,
it.
you know, I'm drinking wine at
But
the
it's
table.
already
and no
been
reason
like
my kids
Yeah.
should enjoy a little. So just a little bit.
energetically
Yeah, they enjoyed
absorbed
it.
by
And
my
I think for
spiritual
me it was also.
So what are the ones that have had the wine? Are they a bit
I've
tipsy?
seen too many young people
Oh,
when they're
gee
teenagers.
whiz, that was
being
mine and
allowed
kind
to
again.
It
enjoy alcohol for the
reminds them
first
of
time.
when
Just
they
go
had
nuts.
their time here.
Okay, well that's
Oh.
nice.
Yeah.
So,
Ah, yes,
well,
this
I
is one
went
of the
nuts,
finer
right? We
things
went
about being on there.
much to drink.
And I
then
put
when I
flour,
went
you know,
white
it's
before
just,
I
I'll
you know,
we can edit.
I
Yeah.
went a bit nutty
It's kind
because
of like
it was like,
honouring
oh, that
Yeah.
secret
And
stuff
yeah,
I'm not allowed to
Yeah.
have, and I did, I overdid it, but you know, it's like it is conditioning, isn't it? And in Europe, there's you know,
Yeah.
kids are kind of brought up with it,
It's a very
so when
good-
by the
yeah.
time they get
Very
older,
good
it's
sort of
not a
tradition
huge
as well.
thing. It's not like this forbidden elixir.
Speaking of wine
of
and
life.
kids, like,
That the
that
adults
was
can
one of the
have, but we
controversial
can't.
things I did as a
So,
parent
you know,
was I
as
would let
the
my
kids
kids
get
have a little bit of
older,
wine at dinner. 'Cause
I mean, with
thought,
Sian
oh,
and
you know, drinking wine
Diana
at
did
the
when they
table,
were like
no reason
teenagers
why
on
kids
special
should
sort
enjoy
of
a little,
occasions.
just a little
But
bit.
I think,
Yeah, they
you
enjoyed it.
know, allowing them
And
to
I think for me it was also
kind of
a
have
sense
that
of
relationship
I think to
where
the young
it's
people,
not.
when they're
Yeah,
teenaging,
taboo,
being
so
allowed
you
to
can't
enjoy
Yeah.
alcohol for
Have
the
it.
first time,
Yeah.
just go nuts.
Oh, I've got a funny story about.
Yeah.
Oh, so,
Yeah, well, I went.
Anyway,
nuts, like,
one-
we went
this is
every
my
night
daughter
to
was-
drink
my youngest daughter was
little-
16,
And then when I worked,
and,
well, actually, before I
my
was
oldest daughter and I were enjoying a
Yeah.
glass of wine.
you
on the front.
know,
we can edit
I
it.
went a bit nutty
And my youngest
because
daughter
it
had
was
a
like,
friend
oh,
over.
that
Yeah.
secret
And they
stuff
were in the
I'm
kitchen.
not allowed to
Yeah.
have. And
Stuff was going
and I
on
did,
in there, and
I
then
overdid
she
it.
popped her
But,
head out and said, "Dad, do you mind if we share a
it is
beer?"
conditioning, isn't it?
And I
And
was
in
16
Europe,
and,
they're,
you know, they were
kids
quite
are
mature
kind of
young
brought up
girls,
with
and I
it.
sort
So
of thought,
when,
yeah,
by the
yeah,
time
why
they
not,
get
you know?
older, it's not
Yeah,
a
sure.
huge thing. It's not like this
Have a beer between
forbidden
the two of you.
elixir of life
Anyway,
that the adults can have, but we
20 minutes
can't.
rolls
So,
on,
you know, as
and
the kids
I'm
get
starting to hear all
older,
this noise going on inside.
I mean, with Sian and Diana did when they were like
And then
teenagers,
all of a sudden the screen
on
door
special
just bursts open,
occasions.
and the two of them
So I
come
think,
out sideways,
you know, allowing them
absolutely off their dial.
Oh my goodness,
that
20 minutes?
Yeah.
where it's not-
Off their dial they were, and then off they went down the street and
Can't
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah.
drunk as
Oh, I've got a
skunks.
funny story about.
Yeah.
And my oldest daughter and I are looking at each other like this,
Anyway,
going,
this is my daughter.
That's not
my youngest daughter's
half a
16.
beer each.
No.
And, my
So,
oldest daughter and I
um,
were enjoying a glass of wine on the
We
front
went inside
porch
and had a look, and I
And
just
my
bought a
youngest
brand new
daughter
bottle
had
of
a friend
whiskey,
over.
and the damn thing
And
was
they
like
were in the
nearly
kitchen.
half gone.
Stuff was going on.
They were convince
she popped her head out and said,
Did they
"Do you mind if
think
we
that
share a
was
beer?"
beer?
No.
No,
I think they were probably bad influences
Oh
on each
my
other.
goodness.
And anyway, later that evening, my youngest daughter was throwing her guts up on
Yeah.
over the side of the veranda, and I think she learned her
So
lesson.
she learned a lesson from that.
minutes
That's a pretty
rolls
big
on.
That's a
lesson.
big lesson.
Yeah, I'm starting to hear all this
Yeah.
noise.
I
going
can
inside.
remember
And
learning a big lesson with
then all of a sudden the
Bundaberg.
screen
Oh, yeah, that's pretty
And
burst open.
I've never
The
drunk
two of
it
them come
again
out
because
sideways.
It was, all I can
Absolutely
remember
off
from
their
that
dial.
is
Oh my goodness,
not
20
so
minutes?
Yeah.
feeling.
Off their
I
dial
know,
they were, and
yeah,
then
that's all
off
part
they
of the
went down the
lesson too,
street.
because I mean, I don't think my youngest daughter goes anywhere near
Drunk
this kid.
as skunks.
Good. Good.
And my oldest
That's good.
daughter and I looked
And when
at
if I
each
do
other
offer her one, she's
and
like, oh,
No
that's
thanks.
not
no, it's
half
okay.
a beer each.
No.
I'll have a
So
beer.
we
Isn't
went
this
inside
what
and had a
beer
look.
is?
I
Don't
just
you
bought a brand new
remember?
bottle of whiskey, and the damn thing was like nearly
Crazy
half
kids.
gone.
Oh,
my
so, you
That
know, I
was-
enjoy watching my
Did they think that was
girls go
beer?
through lessons
No.
as well. And
I think they were probably bad
some of them
influences
just
on
Oh
each
my
other.
and throwing their
goodness.
guts
And
up over the
anyway,
veranda
later that evening,
after
my
the
youngest
drinking
daughter
was
was
kids.
throwing her guts up. I
But,
just-
Yeah.
I- over the side of the
being a parent's
veranda.
a big lesson.
I think
For
she
sure.
learned her
So
lesson.
she's
And
learned
aren't
a
we-
lesson from that.
You know,
That's
it's
a
not
pretty
like
big
we
That's a
know
big
what we're
lesson.
doing. We're learning
I
as we
can
go along.
remember
Just as our
a-
kids are learning to be
learning a
kids,
big
we're learning how
lesson
to.
with
Yeah.
Bundaberg.
Where was the
Oh, yeah, that's
instruction
pretty
manual?
harsh.
There
I've
is
never
no-
drunk
Well,
one
there's
yet.
like
Yeah.
a million
It was,
books out
you know,
there.
All I can remember from
You know,
that
but
is not so
you can't be.
good a
You've got to
feeling.
kind of do
I know,
it. But you
and
can
yeah, that's all
get
part of the lessons too.
advice,
Because I mean, I don't think my youngest daughter goes
but it
anywhere
might
near
not
whiskey.
fit. Like you might read
Good.
the whole book
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sort of working it out as we go
And when if I
along.
do offer her
That's
one,
just
she's
someone
like,
else's
"Oh,
opinion. It doesn't have to be
no, it's
the
okay."
be on end all.
I'll have a
Yeah,
beer.
so I mean, when I
Isn't
was
this
a
what
young fella, I'd never
beer
grown
is?
up around
Don't
any
you remember?
young babies or children. You know,
Crazy kids.
all the people,
so, you know,
all the
I
young
enjoy
people in my
watching
street
my-
were the same age, and we had a lovely group of
Girls go through lessons as
young
well. and-
people that would just get out on their bikes
Yeah,
and
some
do
of them tough, like
silly
throwing
things.
their guts over
So
the
I
veranda
never really
after we
had to
drink
look after a baby until my own was
But,
born.
yeah,
And
hey,
going, what do I
even
do with
parents' big
this?
lesson.
You know, what do I do with this sort of thing?
Help
You know,
me.
it's not like we know what we're
But
doing.
yeah, you have to learn
We're
on the
learning
job.
as we go
Yeah, you
along.
do.
It's just
Oh,
like kids
yeah.
are learning to be kids. We're
And
learning.
it's not
how
always
to
easy.
do
Yeah.
it.
Where was the instruction
I still
manual?
think we're
There
learning
is
about
no, well,
how to
there's
be a
like a
parent
million
in-
books
well,
out there.
Personally, in my 50s.
You know, but
Yes.
Because
Can't be-
even
you've
when
gotta
our kids are
kinda
growing
do
up,
it. I
we're
mean,
still
you
a
can
parent
get
to them.
advice,
So it's not like, oh, our job's
but
done
it
here.
might not fit,
That's
like, you might need to
it's
go,
like,
"Oh,"
Yeah,
and
it's
sort of
constant.
working it out,
Yeah.
as we
isn't
go
it? Which is
along.
beautiful
And that's just
because,
someone
you know,
else's
it's
opinion on
beautiful to
parenting.
have
It
that
doesn't have to be,
connection
you know,
constantly
being on
as
the
our children grow.
Yeah, so I mean,
You
I
know, they're adults,
when I
they're
was a
still
young
our
fella, never grown
children.
up around any
They're still
young
our babies.
babies or
Like, I
children.
still call my big
you know,
babies my
all
babies.
The people, all the young people in my street were the
But
same
it
age.
is like
and we had a
learning how to
lovely group of
navigate that in the
young
different
people
stages
that
and
would just
different
get out on their
chapters.
bikes and do
And then one
silly
day
things.
they have
so I
children.
never really,
Yeah.
You know, and
looked
then
after
we
a baby until
we
my own was
become
born.
grandparents,
And
and
then
we're
we're
still
going, what do I do?
parents
This?
and grandparents,
You know,
and
what
then we
do I
got
do?
little ones. We kind of remember what that was like,
Mm.
and we still got our
But yeah,
big
you have to
children.
learn on the job.
Yeah, you do.
So,
Seriously.
yeah, that's one of the wonders of life.
And
really,
it's not always
isn't it?
easy.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. And
Yeah.
And I still think we're
yeah,
learning
I
about
think it's
how to be a parent.
a wonderful journey.
Well, you know, personally.
Yeah,
It is.
definitely not an easy one, that way.
Yeah, it's-
Because even
No, it's
when
not.
our kids are
We
growing
kinda-
up,
I'm just
we're
looking
still a
through that
parent to them.
lovely
So it's
thing.
not like,
Yeah,
oh, our job's done here. That's
So we've
it's
done
like,
pretty well there,
constant.
Rusty.
Yeah.
isn't it? Which is
Before
beautiful.
we kind
You
of
know, it's
wrap
beautiful
up,
to have
like,
that
can you think of
connection
anything that
constantly as our children grow?
you'd want to definitely share
know,
with our
They're
beautiful
adults,
people
they're
who
still
are
our
watching?
children.
Like, do you have
and
like
they're still our
a
babies. Like I still call my
little tip
babies my
or
babies.
life hack or just
But
that
it is like
that
learning
point
how to
of
navigate
view
that in the different
that
stages
people might
and different
appreciate?
chapters.
or a joke?
Then one day
No,
they have
oh
children.
look, for me the toughest
Yeah.
lesson
You
in
know, and
life
then
is being
we
yourself
become
and the fun that
grandparents, and we're
is.
still parents and
And
grandparents.
doing
and
your
we got
best to
little
live
ones, we
it.
kind
And
of
sometimes
remember
that
what
means
that
some
was
tough
like.
choices, going against the grain of
And we still
society,
got our big
leaving
children.
relationships that aren't healthy for you.
Yeah, that's one of the wonders of life,
and-
really, isn't it?
yeah, enjoy the ride.
Learning to be yourself is a
Yeah,
lifelong
it's,
process, really, isn't it?
A wonderful
Yeah.
journey.
And to have
Yeah,
the
it's
courage
not an easy one,
to
that
do
way.
so.
Yeah.
no matter what and who.
I'm just looking through that
Even
lovely thing now.
yeah, I think it is sometimes the hardest
So
thing
we've done
is yourself
pretty well there
in
Rusty.
society.
Before
and
we kind of
particularly
wrap up,
a society
can you think of
society
anything
that has been conditioned so heavily.
you want to definitely share with our beautiful
One of my
people
favourite
who are watching?
sayings, I think it was
do you
Christian
have
Emerging,
like
he
a-
said something along the lines of,
A little
it's not
tip
necessarily a sign of good
or
health to be
love
well adjusted to a sick
or just
society.
that
I love
that
that
point of
saying. Yeah, I
view
didn't know who it was,
that
but
people might
that's
appreciate.
exactly right.
Yeah.
or a joke.
No, look, for me, the toughest
You know,
lesson in
we
life
can all
is
be a
being
little bit
yourself and finding
cuckoo.
that
I think we
is,
can all allow ourselves to be a little bit
and
cuckoo.
doing your best to live it,
And be seen as a bit
sometimes
odd,
making some tough choices,
or,
going against
you know,
the grain of
Like
society.
not fitting
Leave
in
not
so
fitting in.
much. I never
A
a
found
little
that
bit
such a
different,
bad thing.
and I don't think we should
Yeah.
fear that.
Mm.
And
Be
learning
happy
to be
with the
yourself is a
oddities
lifelong process, really.
that
Isn't
we
it?
sort of gather as we go through
And
life,
to have
you know,
the courage to do
and celebrate. Yeah,
Yeah.
no matter
To,
what and who
celebrate
are
who you are,
around us.
and honour yourself,
Yeah.
I think
and honour yourself with good
Sometimes the
friends
hardest thing to be
as well.
yourself
You know, friends
in
that are
society,
um,
and in
just
particular
real. Friends that are real.
A society
Yeah.
that has been
And those
conditioned so
friends,
heavily.
like we make our family, don't
One of
we?
my
We
favourite
create it by the
sayings, I
people
think it was
that
Christian Emerging, he said
we
something
tune
along the
in
lines
with,
of,
and
it's
we
not necessarily a sign of
connect
good
with,
health to be
and
well
that's our
adjusted to
family.
a
It's
sick
not
society.
necessarily
I
like
love
the
that
blood
saying,
family.
yeah, I
Is
don't
it?
know
No,
who it
it's
was,
not.
but
The
that's
family you make,
exactly
I think,
right.
is the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah, we
So-
spend probably more time with
You know,
with
we can all be a
socialising
little
with,
bit
with good friends than we do with
cuckoo.
family
I think
sometimes.
we can
So
all allow ourselves to be a little
um,
bit cuckoo.
yeah, making
And
good
be
ones
seen as a bit odd.
Yeah.
Or,
and laugh.
Like
People
not
laugh.
fitting in
Not
so
fitting in.
much.
I know,
I
'cause
never
that,
found
a little bit
that a
different,
bad
and
thing.
I don't
I think
think we
that's what
should
keeps us
fear
young,
that.
isn't it? Don't you love it
Be
when
happy with
you
your oddities.
really
Sort of
laugh?
gather as we
And you
go
really
through life.
laugh so much
Oh,
that you
God.
end up
In
not having
tears.
any noise come out
Yeah, yeah.
because you're laughing so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, that's gold, and it's so good for the health. And
Only
you can
yourself with
feel
good friends.
when you do that, when you laugh that hard, you can just feel all the tensions and stuff
Real?
just leave. You know,
Is
it's
it
like,
real?
Yeah.
it's like
And those friends, like,
yeah, it is the best
we,
medicine.
I mean, we
It
make
is.
our
Sian
family,
makes me
don't we?
laugh. That's
We're
my
created
son.
by
He makes me laugh
that
so much. Like
we
we'll hang out in the
tune
kitchen, and he
and
might be
we
making food, we
connect
might be having a
with,
drink,
and
or
that's
might
our
not.
family. It's not
And he'll
necessarily
just
like
start
the
doing
blood
this
family.
sort of like Seinfeld observational
The family you
humour.
make, I think, is
And I
the-
just end up
Yeah, we
laughing
spend
and
probably
laughing
more
and laughing.
time
And yet there's like no
with,
noise.
socialising
And I'm just
with
double
family
talking and it looks like I'm
sometimes,
in pain.
Yeah.
But I'm just
Yeah, making good
laughing.
ones.
It's like, stop!
And laugh. Laugh.
Oh, that's great.
I know,
It's
it's
good
that.
for
Like,
Yeah,
oh,
and you know,
I think that's what
there's
keeps
certain
us young,
people
isn't it?
specifically who
Don't you love it when you
make me laugh.
really
My
laugh?
brother and I have still got a
and you really
connection,
laugh
and,
so much
Oh,
that you
God,
end up
yeah, we
not
know
having any
tears.
noise come
So
out
yeah, yeah,
because
we
you're
appreciate
laughing
that too.
so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, that's gold.
sometimes
And
we
so
say
good
to each
for health.
other,
And you
you
can
know,
feel
when are we gonna grow up?
when you do that, when you laugh that
Never
hard, you can just
heard.
feel all the tensions and
So I can say something like,
it's
well, tried being sensible once. It was the worst 5 minutes of my
Sian
life.
makes me laugh. That's my
Oh.
son.
I was going
He
to say, I
makes
thought
me
you'd
laugh
say
so
5
much,
seconds.
Like, we'll hang out
Those
in the
5
kitchen,
seconds, I
like,
couldn't
we make
hardly
food,
hold it
might be
for
having
that
a drink
long.
or might not. And he'll just start doing this.
You know, it's been lovely. It's been really nice
It
having a
has.
chat.
And I
to
just
share this
laugh
with you
and laughing and
reconnect.
laughing. And yeah, there's like no
I know.
noise.
I'm
And
so
I'm just double talking.
Thank
It
you,
looks like I'm
coming
in
and
pain.
talking with us. So,
And
I mean,
laughing.
our beautiful
Like, stop!
people here who are watching,
Oh, that's
you know,
great.
as I sort of remind everyone,
Yeah,
there's
and,
no
you know,
space or
it's
time,
certain people
and you're here with us
specifically
now,
who,
and it's just,
make me,
you know,
laugh.
well,
My
imagine
brother and I
that maybe
still
you
got
just got a
connection
tooth
and,
pulled so you couldn't talk.
we make each other
You were
laugh.
just listening.
So
That's
we
all right.
appreciate that too.
But yeah, no, thank
Sometimes
you
we say
so
to each
much
other,
for
you know, when are we
coming,
gonna grow
and
up?
will you
Pleasure.
come back another time?
Never heard.
Yes. Yeah, sure.
Because I think this
Yeah, I
might
can
be
say something
ongoing, and we're
well,
just going to keep
try
talking,
and
talking,
wonderful.
talking, and we're
the
just going to
worst
see,
5
you know,
minutes of
whatever
my life.
comes up at the time.
Oh,
I was going to
Yeah,
say, I
it's
thought you would
just
say 5 seconds.
Unscripted.
Yeah, I kind of like
5
that.
seconds.
In
I
fact,
can
it's a
hardly
metaphor for my
hold
life, you know,
that
unscripted,
long.
you know. Yeah, no, that's good.
It's been lovely.
I like
Lovely. It's
working
been really
away.
nice.
I like that
Yes.
band, Zen Garden,
Yeah.
just get on stage and go, right, what are we
Reconnect.
doing? And
I know.
this has been a bit sad.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
just like,
Rusty,
let's just
for
see what
coming and
happens.
talking with us all.
Yeah, I find that if
So,
I use my brain
mean,
too much,
our
then
beautiful people here
it doesn't
who are
work out
watching,
as much as well as if I.
you know, as I
didn't use
sort
my
of
brain
remind
for
everyone,
it.
there's
I
no
find that too.
space.
I actually
find that
and
as
you're
well.
here
Overthink
with us
things
now,
and
and
you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't,
it's
doesn't
just-
run smoothly.
you know,
No,
well,
but when you
imagine
just
that
let
maybe
it
you
go
just
and
got
you
a tooth
allow
pulled so
whatever's
you
going
can
to
talk.
flow,
You were just
you can't really
listening.
go wrong.
That's
anyway.
all right.
So like, we didn't have
But,
any kind of pausey bits
yeah,
at
no,
all
thank
either.
you so
No.
much for coming. And will you come
it's,
back
just
another
flowed very
time?
nicely.
None of that sort of.
Yeah, sure.
What are we going to
This
say?
might be ongoing.
You say something. No, you say something.
I'm just going to see, whatever comes up at the time.
Oh, well, look, we're both
Yeah, it's
gifted
just
with the
unscripted.
Yeah, I
You
really
do
like
the
that.
waffle.
In fact,
Yeah,
that's
the
a metaphor of my
waffle.
life. Unscripted.
well, we've known each other a few years
Yeah,
now,
that's
so,
good.
it's
I like
it's not
working
hard
that
to
way.
do.
Yeah, it's a bit like that.
Yeah,
band,
no,
Zengo.
I
You
always
just get on
enjoy
stage
our
and go, right,
conversations.
what are we
They're
doing?
always fun, so it's
And,
like,
this
this
has
is
been a
going
bit
to be good.
It's just
Yeah, and
let's just see
Molly's
what happens.
conversation, that was
Yeah, I
amazing.
find that if I
Like,
use
you
my
two
brain too
together,
much, then
perhaps
it
next
doesn't work out
time,
as much as well as if
maybe
I
we should have
didn't
both of
use
you.
my brain, if you know what I mean.
And we'll just.
I think that'd be
Actually,
hilarious.
that would be
Overthink
hilarious.
things
That
and,
actually
yeah.
would be
Run
hilarious.
smoothly.
See, we
That's
could,
so
we
funny.
could,
When you
we
just
could all
let it
witness
go and you allow
Molly and I
whatever's going to flow.
sharing insults.
Yeah,
What
you
are
can't
you?
go
She'd
wrong
say,
with
I go,
it.
useless.
So you didn't have any
I'm useless.
kind of quality bits at all.
I know.
No. Oh, no, it's just flowed
That
really nicely.
would be
None
a
of
fun
that sort of-
one. I think the
Yeah,
next
what are we gonna
series, I might do like
You say
have two
something.
guests at
No,
once
you
and
say
just
something.
Just see. Again, it'll just be
Oh,
whatever
well, we're
happens,
both gifted
whatever will
with
be,
the,
will
you know,
be.
the-
Yeah, you can always edit the
The
swear.
gift of the
Yeah.
waffle.
Yeah, the natter.
In
Yeah.
this day and age, we're allowed to swear, are we?
I think so.
Well, we've known each other a
We can
few
do
years
that
now,
as
so,
the
you know,
little
it's not-
It's a good form of therapy, I reckon. Getting it all off the chest.
I
A
always
good F
enjoy
word,
it.
good F bomb.
See, I'm
always fun,
okay
so
with
it's
the
like,
F word.
oh,
I
this is
really
gonna be
hate
good.
the C word.
Yeah, and Molly,
Yeah, I'm not a
Molly's
big fan
That's
of
not.
conversation, was
That doesn't
amazing.
work with me.
Like,
That
you two
feels
together,
I don't know.
perhaps
It's not the
next
same, but the
time,
F,
maybe we
just-
should have
yeah.
both of you.
F and this,
And we'll
I
just-
think that would be
Having
hilarious.
That would be
that can easily
hilarious.
come
That
into
actually
conversation.
would- it
I've
would be
watched a lot
hilarious.
of
See,
interviews
in
you
that
could,
way.
you could
Just
all
plays
witness
often. You're all
Molly and I.
we know what it
sharing
is.
Oh,
It's like a
What are
distraction.
you?
word.
Say,
well, when I'm inside
I'm useless.
and
I know,
maybe
I
cooking
know.
something, and Molly's out in the garden, and
Oh.
every second word I can hear from her is F and this, F and
I
that, and
think
she's
the next
throwing
series,
things and.
yeah, I might do
And I'm
like
blushing, and
yes,
I'll stick my head out the door and I say, 35 years on building
Again,
sites, and
it'll
I've
just
never
be
heard such
whatever happens.
language.
Whatever will be.
Yeah, you can always edit the swearing.
I'm glad it's directed at the
I think at this
leads.
stage
not
Yes.
we're allowed to swear, are we?
I think so.
I
And
think
then
we can
she-
do that
yeah,
as a
and
little
then it's
off
directed at me.
It's a
word.
good form
And
of
then it
therapy.
comes when you just shut the door.
Good F
And
word.
go back to
Good F
the
bomb.
kitchen.
Yeah.
See, I'm
Pour
okay
that
with
glass
the
of
F
wine.
word.
Pour that
I
glass
really
of wine
hate
and-
the C word.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan
That's
of that.
not. That doesn't work with me. That feels
Shake
like,
that one off.
I don't know.
Lovely.
It's not the same, but the F. Just.
Well,
That's funny.
thank you so
F and
much. It's been
this.
wonderful to sit here and have a
F
chat.
and that.
And we're
That
going to
can
go
easily come
now,
into
so it
conversation.
sounds make
I've
some
watched a
dinner.
lot of interviews and that where it just flows up
already. So we're going to go eat dinner, maybe have another
It's like
glass
a
of wine.
descriptive
Thank
way.
you,
Well,
Rusty,
when
for being
I'm
my
inside,
lovely guest.
And
Pleasure
And
indeed.
maybe cooking
we
something,
will be
Molly's out
back
in the
again
garden, and
another time
every second word I can hear
with
from her is
another
F and this,
talk,
F
and we'll
that,
just
and
see
she's
what
throwing
happens
things
on
and-
nothing else
and I'm
matters.
blushing, you know, I'm
Thank
going to
you.
stick my head out the door and I say 35 years on building sites. And I've
The
never
end.
heard such language.
Thank you, that was amazing. Isn't it amazing how long we can go on for? in this?
Yes.
That's good.
And
That
then
was
she-
good
and
enjoyed it.
conversation.
Then it's
Never had done anything like that
And then it
before.
goes, and then you just shut the door and go back to the kitchen.
yeah.
Thank
Pour that glass of
you.
wine.
Pour that glass of wine and